Wednesday, April the 19th, 2023. The time is 12:04, and we're going to go ahead and start with a roll call. Here. Here. Here.
Here.
We need a motion to excuse Member Campero.
So move.
We'll move Mr. Hernandez, second Mr. Martinez. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Now please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation by Fred Brown.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please bow your heads. Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support. As we begin this meeting, help us to engage in meaningful discussion, allow us to grow closer as a group, and nurture the bonds of our community. Amen.
Amen. We're going to start with the Director's Administrative Report and line item A, crossings and revenues for March 2023.
Good afternoon, Chairman, city officials. For the record, Fred Brown, Director of Operations, the Pharr Bridge. I'd like to start with page number 3. We have the car crossings for the month of March. Total crossings, car crossing for the month of March, we crossed a total of 53,570 cars, which represents an increase of 12,098 cars, or an increase of 29.17%. So I'd like to share with you other crossings from other ports of entry on cars. We have Gateway, Veterans, Free Trade, Los Indios, 3 bridges in Brownsville. They had an increase of 43,287 crossings, which represents an increase of 16%. Eagle Pass had an increase of 15,021 cars, 6% increase. Laredo Bridge, an increase of 38,136 cars, 10% increase. McAllen Hidalgo, 24,152. And Salduas, 23,555. Combination of both, 47,707, an increase of 15%. Progressive Bridge, they had an increase of 2,902 cars, 6.59%. The Honor Bridge, they had an increase of 10,951, an increase of 22.14%. And then the Pharr Bridge, an increase of 12,098, an increase of 29.17%. On page number 4, we have the southbound truck crossings for the Pharr Bridge. This is a trucks that are traveling from the U.S. to Mexico. For the month of March, we crossed a total of 68,122 crossings, trucks, which represents an increase of 1,048 trucks, or an increase of 1.56% for the month of March. Also, I'd like to share with you other crossings from other ports of entry on trucks. We have Veteran Los Tomates, an increase of 5,443, an increase of 25%. Free Trade Los Indios, there's a typo there. It should be 31,170 for 21-22, an increase of 6,683. Eagle Pass, we had an increase of 1,535, 9% increase. Laredo Bridge, an increase of 13,673, an increase of 6%. Pharr Bridge, an increase of 1,048 trucks, 2% increase. Progressive Bridge, we had a decrease of 395 trucks, which represents a decrease of 7%. And then on Salduas Bridge, they had an increase of 948 trucks, which represents an increase of 40%. Again, Chairman, like I mentioned 2 months ago, that for the month of March, we're going to be seeing an increase. And as you see, the increase was mostly on the 6-axle. Compared to last year's same month, we had an increase of over 1,500 trucks. We did have a decrease on the 5-axle, but mostly the increase was on the 6-axle.
How does April look this past 2 weeks?
For this month,
Yes.
for the month of April so far, we had an increase so far from April 1st to the 16th, an increase of 9,000 trucks so far. And then again, remember the incident that we had last year. of the 100% inspections on all trucks at the DPS. That's one of the reasons why we had to shut down for 3 days, and then the inspection were very minimal. So this is one of the reasons why we had an increase. We're gonna definitely have an increase of, right now, from April 1st to 16, we had an increase of 9,000 trucks. So
Is that just southbound or that's a combination northbound, southbound?
that's, right now, it's only southbound. Definitely northbound will see the same effect, pretty much the same numbers. On page number 5, we have the northbound truck crossings for the month of March. These are trucks that are coming from Mexico to the US to the Pharr Bridge. We crossed a total of 65,349, which represents an increase of 5,212, or an increase of 8.67%. On the agriculture side, the Pharr International Bridge total 22,590 crossings for the month of March, representing 35% of all the imports that are coming from Mexico to the US. As well, on the agriculture side, the Pharr International Bridge import lot show an increase of 3,985 more trucks compared to last year to this month, which represents an increase of 21.42%. It was a very good month for us on the agriculture as well.
I think that month, that 22,590 for March, that might even be a record,
Yes.
Fred, for ag.
Yes, yes, sir. It was a very good month.
What do you think it's more the ag side, onions or Tony, that you're more?
I think the mangoes kicked in a little bit earlier, and Fred and Eddie, we were exchanging some info, but grapes have also started shifting from Nogales to Pharr.
Oh, okay.
What numbers did we give it? It was, or you guys remember, it was like 6,000 loads, 8,000
6,000.
loads over a 6-week period. So
Month
the
and
next
a half.
couple months, I mean, it's going to drop
We'll see it.
because normally tropicals will drop, but I think our new kind of summer is going to be like around the 18,000 trucks, ag trucks northbound, 18, 20,000, which is much higher compared to what it used to be, because we used to be like at 14,000 trucks northbound on ag.
And
So the term produce season, I think, is no more. I think this is a year-round
yes.
norm.
Keep in mind that our produce season starts on October and ends on April. For us, the peak months for the season is March and April. This is the heaviest month for us. March and April is the biggest when we have the major crossings from Mexico and produce. So March, April is the peak month for us for purchase.
But keep your eye, April, you're going to be surprised.
Yes.
I think we're going to see some record numbers come April and
Well.
come May, just because of grapes and some of the other commodities that are increasing also. Mangoes is just taking off like crazy.
Correct.
So that's great. It's great
Thank
news.
you.
Do
Yes, sir.
you, Tony, do you see it? Because I know like years back, it used to drop dead, in May, as far as, produce. Do you see that still happening, or just even out a little
No,
more
it's-
throughout the summer?
Well, the thing is that the row crops now are going to slow down. That's normal. But on the tropical side, and then now you have these new, like now you have a lot more berries coming. You have a new state of Jalisco kicking in with avocados now, but berries and grapes are kind of the new thing that are coming this way.
Where are the grapes coming from? Are they coming from the
Sonora,
Yeah,
Sonora, Nayarit, for the most part.
Yucatan.
Okay.
That area.
So right now Nogales is being affected drastically because they're shifting those
crossings
crossings this
through
way.
here.
Definitely, we need to work on our DAP 16, or we need to build our coal units because we're gonna need them.
Yeah. So all those are commodities that are going, to your point, to where we used to see those drops. Now those commodities that are coming this way are going to be summer gap. They're going to fill in our gaps, what used to be gaps in the
Okay,
summer.
That's exactly what it was. It would die here on the summer. The trucks would go out, and instead of coming back here, they would try to get back to like El Paso
Mhm.
to get themselves back to Nogales to reload, going back northbound. So now with those products shifting, then we'll have more southbound freight trying to get into the valley to be able to pick up those loads.
Yes, sir. On page number 6, we have the combination of both. We have southbound and northbound crossings on trucks. Total northbound and southbound, we total a total of 133,471 crossings, which represents an increase of 6,260 more trucks, or 4.92% compared to last year, same month. On the revenue side, We collected a total of $1,649,118, which represents an increase of $87,608, or an increase of 5.61% for the month of March. Overall, from October to March, we collected a total of $9,031,000, which represents an increase of $225,932, or an increase of 2.57%. On page number 8, we have the crossings by axles. On the cars, we crossed a total of 53,570 cars, two axles, 3,245, three axles, 4,685, four axles, 1,235, five axle, 51,452, six axles, 7,225, mobile homes, we crossed two, wide loads, 226, special crossings, 52, which represents a total crossings of 121,692 vehicles. This is cars and trucks for the month of March. Chairman, board members, this concludes my report. So if you have any questions.
Fred, I have a question. Going
Yes,
back
sir.
to the crossings on the truck southbound,
Uh-huh.
I saw that the Brownsville bridges had a tremendous increase.
Yes, it was a typo on that one, like I mentioned. On 2022, it's supposed to be 31,000 instead of the 1,000. It was a typo.
Okay,
It's a mistake. Yes, sir.
thank you, Fred.
Yes, sir.
If you don't have any more questions, we'll go to the finance report for February 2023.
Yes, sir. With us, we have Eddie Gutierrez going to give you a presentation on the finance.
Board members, administration, for the record, Eddie Gutierrez, Bluestone Capital Solutions, I'm the finance consultant for the bridge. Quickly, we're reviewing the February 2023 year-to-date. For February year-to-date, we reported $7,870,000. 90% of that was from the toll bridge. It was $7,074,000. The interest from the proceeds from the bond came out to about $581,000, which is about 7% of that. You can see the credit cards, the peso, and the rental is about 1% of the proceeds, the revenues that are coming in. And then we have some miscellaneous income that's coming in there. So total revenues year to date, we reported $7,870,000. On the expenditure side of it, we have operating expenses that were reported at $10,213,000. 5% of that came from personnel, which was $561,000. 13 was from the debt service, $1,323,000, and then the 74%, which is the transfer outs, was $7,574,000. So revenues over expenses created a deficit of 2.3. However, there's a transfer from the bond proceeds coming in for all the projects that we have of 2.6. So that should give us back in par where we're supposed to be at. So, and the transfer is for DAP 15 and DAP 16 projects that we have. So we'll be okay from that perspective. And I believe that transfer has already been done already. So any questions regarding the financial statements? No. I want to drill down now on the toll collections. Budgeted for 2023 year to date was $7,348,000. Actual year to date is $7,074,000. And then you have year to date last year, same time last year was $7,109,000. So there's a decrease of about less than 1%. I think it's like 4.49%. But obviously March and April are looking fantastic. So I think we're going to be making those up in the months to come. Any questions on this particular slide? Okay. The next slide is drilling down on the expenditures budgeted compared to actual. The yellow area is actually where we're at. Those are the actual numbers. The gray area is our budgeted numbers. That's what we have remaining. As you can see, averaging out through year to date through February, we're supposed to be about 42%. So if we're at 42 or less than 42, we're still in par. The high one there is the insurance. We're over that. That gets paid at the very front end. And then, of course, the transfer out put us at 65% on the transfer out. So we're making that up with the 2.6 that came back in. So we're actually in par. With a 53% based on February, but the transfer in should bring it back down to where we're supposed to be at. Any questions on this slide? No. Okay, this is the bond proceeds for all the projects that we have, the bridge expansion and the DAP 15 and DAP 16. Obviously, we have the amortization table for the principal and the interest, and then the total debt service on one side. And then the pie chart shows you the proceeds going to the bridge expansion And then the DAP 15 and DAP 16 is highlighted in yellow for about $16 million. The following slide, this concludes the financial portion of it. The second portion of the finance report is talking about the southbound recapture rate. Want to clarify a couple of things on the southbound recapture rate. Just making a point that the percentage of the southbound recapture rate is I can explain it best like this. For every 100 trucks that are going northbound that we're importing into the US, we're capturing how many are we going back. So for example, we have 100 trucks going northbound and we have 97 going southbound exporting. That's simple math. It's 97%. So we're taking the 97 southbound trucks and dividing that by the 100 northbound trucks, and it gives us 97%. So that's how we get to that number. Why is this number important? It's important when we're forecasting and projecting out. We're looking for trends. That's what we're looking for. So if our trend back in 14 all the way to 2020, and we averaged out at 96% based on those numbers, then when we're looking at projecting out and seeing the projected on the northbound trucks, and seeing the capacity increases and the efficiency increases with all the projects that are happening, we're going to be able to determine quickly what that southbound crossing could be coming back southbound and creating those revenues for us. So that's one tool that we use to project out. But obviously, if you look at 14 all the way, as you look at this graph, the blue portion is the northbound traffic. That's what's being imported to the U.S. The yellow portion, the bars in yellow, is what's being exported out. For the longest time, we had, the northbound was a lot more than what was going southbound being exported. We were, averaging 96%. In 2021, 22, and 23, we're starting to see that we're actually exporting more trucks are crossing south than are actually coming northbound. Some of the, what we can attribute this to is the 6-axle trucks that are crossing. But that's some of the, we've seen those 6-axle oil and gas tankers that have been attributing to this on the increases, because that's where we're seeing the increases of 6-axle trucks come this way on the study we did the last time. So this goes from 2014 historical to 2023 year to date. The following slide is just basically looking at this year, fiscal year 23, and measuring month to month what's happening. Again, the blue portion is northbound trucks. The yellow portion is the southbound trucks being exported. And you can see we're way above, we're exporting more trucks than we got, importing this ways, except for February. March is already at 100%. Averaging for this year, we're at 105% average on the southbound, historical southbound recapture rate. So we're exporting more trucks. It's not the same trucks, but it's all we're looking is a measurement of how many trucks are coming northbound and going southbound. Like I said, this is important because it helps us measure and project out when we look at the capacity increases in efficiencies, what's going to come southbound on that side. Yes, sir.
Just to kind of elaborate what we discussed last week.
Yes, sir.
When we spoke. One of the other key points or the metrics that we see here is we're also recapturing southbound from other ports.
Mhm.
So, and I'm just speaking for ag, but as other ports are also seeing a 1% increase annual, Texas ports northbound, those trucks have to go back. The data is here where it says, like Eddie's saying, from for the last 2 years, our recapture rate is above our northbound. So that means we are recapturing some of that freight, heading southbound. So that also just kind of jives with what he's doing. So we're also able to track the trends of the other ports and just kind of compare it to make sure that we're just cross-checking ourselves. But from a competitive standpoint, this also keeps a good pulse on what the other ports are doing.
On your formula, Eddie, are you guys taking consideration, some of the vehicles crossing northbound are considered commercial under CBP, but not as far as them paying the toll? Because I don't know how much of a spread that is,
Yeah.
but it's there. Because you got taquitas or you got short trucks that cross as commercial on customs documentation, but when they go south, they cross as a pickup truck.
Mm.
So
Oh.
that's gonna give you a variance also within the numbers.
We have more or less total about 20, but probably a little more, and we can, CBP can testify to this, probably about 25%, 25 vehicles. If say we have a vehicle van that is carrying a box of chips worth $1 million, as they come back to our bridge, we consider that as a car. So for CBP, it's an entry.
Correct.
Right? For us, a car. So.
But you think it's only 20 a day?
About, it could be more, a little bit less, but 25 vehicles like that. Or a truck that's bringing piñatas from Mexico. Going back
because,
to Mexico for us is a cross.
Because for
just a car.
customs, that truck's more
Yeah, yeah,
valuable
for customs, it's an entry.
than a full truck
Yes.
of lines,
Exactly.
for
trucks
that
is an
matter.
entry.
So,
So that's a little bit of difference of every day that we have those crossings. More or less. So that's the difference. That's just to give you that amount more or less.
and the thing is, the more we get into like, with more automotive coming into the neighboring cities or
Mhm.
stuff like that, you get to have a lot more of that hotshot and
Yes,
van
exactly.
expedited services that, that you might not see in other, as much in other industries as you do in automotive. So
That's right.
just food for thought.
This concludes my presentation. Do you have any other questions for me?
No.
All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Eddie.
Mhm.
you.
Thank you.
In the engineer's report, we have Mr. Ruben Alfaro. Going to give you a presentation on the update on the projects.
Good afternoon, Chairman, members of the board. We're going to start with DAP 15. Okay, so from here, we can see that recent activity on the northbound lane expansion area. There's been installation of flashing and TPO membrane in progress for the air conditioning fresh air curbs on the northbound lane expansion. On the roof, there's been installation of flashing and termination bars, the existing parapet wall, that's also in progress. Installation and realignment of metal studs framing above the inspection booths. And preparation and installation of plywood in progress for the metal panels that are gonna go on the top of the inspection booths. As well, preparation of an installation of plywood for the second BSIF exit. So we did receive an updated schedule from the contractor. The project completion expected is on May 8th of this year. Time to date is 952 days for 134% of the time. And we have placed to date about 3.5 million, which is 97.8%. As well, for the second BSIF exit is the same time, 952 days, same expected completion date, and we have placed 4.1 million, which is about 92%. For DAP 16 project, we're still on the same page as before. As we know, we're waiting on the tip revisions and the approval from FHWA. So this project is going to be at a standstill until August, around there, when they approve the tip revisions, and then after that, we'll go to work on the AFA amendments with TxDOT. So for now, that project is going to be on the waiting till we get those revisions. For the international bridge expansion, consultant received 100% PS&E comments, and final PS&E is scheduled for submittal on May 15th of this year. We are keeping up with the schedule. We expect environmental clearance on spring of 2024 and construction completion on fall of 2025. Recent activity, Rabak Isner, which is a sub-consultant for SEA, submitted the draft environmental assessment to TxDOT and FHWA on April 6th. On April 12th, the design team from SEA visited with the bridge staff and IT staff at the bridge to finalize some decisions on IT and DMS. And then by the end of the month, SEA will transmit the draft application to the U.S. Coast Guard for their review and approval. And that concludes my presentation. If you have any questions, I'm here to answer.
Any questions?
No.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ruben.
We're gonna move to the director's report.
Yes, Chairman. We're gonna go to executive session to discuss the two items that we had.
That's all you have?
Yes, sir. Hmm? Two items. Two items? All the minutes. Approval?
You could do 3A right now.
Yep.
Then we'll go into executive.
Okay. We'll do the
So
approval
we need a
minutes.
motion to approve the minutes.
Motion.
We have a motion by Mr. Martinez.
Aye.
Second by Mr. Reyes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. And now in accordance with chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code, section .071 to .087, the Pharr International Bridge Board hereby gives notice that it will now meet in a closed executive session to discuss the items listed in the public portion of the meeting agenda. The time is 12:29. We're back from executive and the time is 12:47. And we're gonna move to line item B, discussion and action, if any, on Southeast Produce Council membership for $750, I believe is annual.
I'll make a motion.
A motion by Mr.
Aye.
Hernandez, second by Mr. Beas. All in favor, say aye.
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 All right, motion carries. And
MC,
no, you need no motion on that?
I have
No.
two items.
Okay, so we just need a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
A motion by Mr.
Second.
Martinez, second by
One last
Mr.
thing, I'm sorry, Chairman, I do have one last comment on the,
Okay,
tomorrow. It's gonna be, we have the Industrial Summit warehouse, it's gonna be at the DRC.
Oh.
It's gonna be 9 in the morning from 12 noon. We have, right now, we have over 130 people that register.
they're gonna
So
fit?
it's gonna be a very good event for you all to attend or to, if you can, please make time to attend. It's gonna be tomorrow at the DRC from 9 in the morning to 12 noon. We have lunch there as well. We'll have lunch as well. Then we'll do a tour as well.
Fred, you're still
The bus.
allowing people to go in, right? Or if they, or do they have to register?
If you
Okay,
if
so
you can
if people
attend,
show
we'll
up,
make room for
they're
you.
not gonna let them in?
No, no, no.
Oh, okay, 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 okay,
Yeah.
okay, 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 okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
We'll make room. And that's it, Chairman. Sorry.
All right, so we go back, we need the motion to adjourn. We have a motion, Mr. Martinez, second by Mr. Hernandez. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.